Okay, there we go. Hey guys, good morning. How's everybody doing today? How was the weekend? Hope you're enjoying the start of your Monday. Wanted to talk to you today about something I've done in the past, and that is a product offering. In other words, what are all the things you get when we work together? And I did a product offering video slash talk with a one-page PowerPoint summary with all the different products and the product offering that I am offering that you get when you work with me. And I think that had really good, it had really good feedback. So this is a follow up on that to remind you about that, but also talk about all of the new things because I did that before the AI tools really were as big as they are. I did that maybe about a year and a half ago, and now AI is just so incorporated into everything that we do. And I'm using AI in and out every day. So the product offering now includes some really cool additional AI features and functions. So the product offering really breaks down into two very important things because I believe that in order to have a good product, you need a good process. And if you're going to have a good process, you got to have good people. So you take care of the people take care of the process delivers a good product, and then hopefully you get a good profit, right? Because you need a certain profit margin within a certain percentage to stay in business. So it's two things, it's the people and the process. And we'll talk about the process first, number one. So, from a process perspective, what you get is a automated, streamlined reporting system. And let me explain because that's important. I find that a lot of teams spend a tremendous amount, at least 40% of their time, just on reporting, whether that be external reporting to clients or internal reporting to stakeholders, people like senior level executives and C suite players. So, I've built these things, guys, before we had AI. So with the introduction of AI, what that has done is it's just made it much easier to build these things and to give you tools to put you more in control. So the reporting front end to the reporting is what I call a scorecard. And the metadata for the scorecard contains the objectives and key results with an emphasis on key results that we measure by each quarter or by each month to stack against. So it's not enough to say we're going to increase this by 5% or decrease this by 5%. We want to say our goal with this quarter was to increase this by 5%. We increased it by 3%. We're 2% away from our goal. And next quarter, we'll shoot for 4%. So it's telling the whole story from a numbers perspective. And the scorecard has additional things like who are the owners, what's the trend, what's the rag. All of that can be done and given to you in a customizable web page specifically just for you, your department. And we can replicate that across your entire organization so that every single department head has custom reporting that they can press a button or have it automatically pull in for them, what I call data on demand. The primary sources that I pull that from, or that I would recommend that we pull that from, is Atlassian's Jira, where all of your project work is being tracked anyway. So why not just have it automatically pulling from Jira instead of doing duplicate work? That being said, I totally get that people have their own trackers, they have their own Excel documents, they have their own SharePoints and Confluence, and they have all these different disparate places where they want to do updates. So instead of asking people to do an additional thing, absolutely not. We identify what all those processes are. We do a process mapping exercise so we can visualize where all the pieces of information are. And we build an AI agent that automatically goes out once a day, once a week, based on whatever frequency you choose. It pulls all that information, it summarizes, it synthesizes that information, and pulls that together in that one-page scorecard summary. Now, the reason why I say semi-automated is before we produce the results of that one-page automated summary, we then go back out to the different teams, the different leads across the different departments, product, ops, tech, legal, compliance, cyber, all the different department heads. And we say, look, What we've done here is we've built a semi-automated reporting tool. This is what the end output looks like. This is the web page specifically just for you guys. This is the custom URL specifically for just for you. You can even have the URL contain their last name so it's easy for them to remember, which is all stuff I've done in the past. And we say, look, we're going to produce this every Thursday at 9 a.m. So what we would recommend you do is have your team take a look at it by Wednesday at the end of the day by close of business, and any changes that they want, you can either change it directly or just let us know and we'll change it for you. Now, the reason why that little handoff is important is because even though we're going to have an AI agent go out to all these different sources and automatically synthesize and pull the information, this does not mean that people update their information correctly or on time. And this is very common. So once we establish governance, once we establish a routine, we give people the opportunity to make any additional changes. Maybe they don't like the AI summary, but we give them the opportunity before we finalize it. Now, once we do that and we replicate that, depending on how many departments you have, depending on how big your reporting stream is, and I've done this in teams where we were looking at thousands and thousands of people, you're looking at saving 40 to 50% of your time just on reporting because now all the reporting is done for you. So that is the number one first thing that we do from the product offering from a process perspective. Let's talk about some other process things and then we'll go into the people side. So the next thing from a process perspective is now that we have all the reporting in place and that is done in a organized, uniform, neat way, and we give people the opportunity to opine, the next thing we want to look at is the roadmap. Roadmap is just a fancy word for what's the project plan. A roadmap just displays the project plan in a very easy, friendly way, broken down. It's color-coded. It's broken down by category. So these are the operational things. These are the technology things, or whatever category you choose. And the concept is the same. We give you a web page, custom 100% to you. You go to the web page and it produces the product roadmap. As things change on the product roadmap, it automatically updates itself, and you can get that whenever you want, data on demand, or you can work with someone like myself to customize that. That is the next biggest thing you get. You would be surprised at how many teams and how many departments I work with that I say to them, okay, we can work on this, no problem. Can I see what your current roadmap is? Can I see what your current project plan is? And I'll start from there and I'll amend it to produce the final one. And they don't have it. They don't have anything. They have just a couple notes on the side somewhere, or some kind of disparate tool they kind of built. They built in Excel, or they tried to put something together in PowerPoint, and there's like one guy in the department that's like always running around crazy trying to update it. No one ever really knows what's going on other than him or her, and like that's not a good thing. As a company, as a team, as an organization, we should all be in line with what I call MVP. And you've worked with me in the past, I talk about MVP a lot. I really believe in it, which is mission, vision, purpose. The mission, the vision, and the purpose should be stated inside of your roadmap, inside of your project plan. So we're going to automate all of that. Obviously, like I talked about in the scorecard, big piece of the roadmap is those objectives and key results. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? And how do we measure it? And it's not enough to just say 5% here or there. We want to talk about what's the percentage goals we actually hit. What's the percentage we were away from those goals, and were those goals too aggressive or not aggressive enough so that we can modify next quarter? The purpose is not to tell a story and say we didn't hit our objective. The purpose is to say we came within X amount of percentage of our objective. And the reason why we didn't get to the total amount of the objective is because we set a very aggressive goal. And so next quarter, we'll refine the goal so that we actually hit it. And like Elon Musk says, you always want to set like a goal so aggressive that, 50% of the time you may not hit them. So that's the roadmap. That's the next thing you get as part of the process product offering. Number 2. Number 3, what you get. And once again, guys, I did a beautiful 1-page PowerPoint presentation showing this in a circular flow and talking about what I would recommend we do first, second, third, etc. And so if you're listening to me talk and you're saying like, Mark, I really kind of need to visualize this stuff, just shoot me a note, reach out to me. I will send you that 1-page summary, or we can hop on a call. I can walk you through it. Also, if there's anything additional that you think that you want, let me know. We can do anything and everything for you. But what I'm offering to you is the stuff that I've seen in the past 20 years that every single team needs or isn't really doing, so it's not effective for them. So the next thing is a good old fashioned budget and headcount tracker planner, number three. This is where we say we have 500 people in the department. We have 5,000 people in the department, and Johnny is spending 75% of his time on this and 25% of his time on this. And now we know the actual cost of these things because once we know roughly, we don't produce sensitive information like people's salaries and their compensation, but we say based on an average. Johnny sits in New York. He's a developer. So based on that, if he's spending 25% of his time on this initiative, then this initiative or this project is going to cost us X versus 75% of this initiative or this project over here, which is going to cost us Y. So really getting down to a very detailed or what they say granular level in a headcount budgeting project plan, which ties back into the roadmap, which ties back into the scorecard, which is why we do it third and not first, because you need the scorecard and you need the roadmap first to display what everyone is doing, what they're working on, and why they're working on it. This reveals a lot of things. You're going to see, well, this is Jane, and Jane's, 120% over allocated. Or this is John, and he's, only spending 2-3 hours a day on this. This will help you to look at your workforce globally and make sure that everyone is working on the right things and that you are not wasting resources. In my experience, once you start working with teams 7 plus, where you're talking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 people, there is a tremendous amount of resources that's being wasted. Now, the goal is not to burn people out and have people running 100% of the time. The goal is to say, how are we evenly spreading our resources over the objectives and initiatives that we want to get done for the next 6 months, for the next year, for the next 18 months? Because generally, that's what I'll do. I'll give you 3 different views. I'll give you your 3 to 6 month view, your 6 to 12 month view, and then your 12 month to 18 month view, so that you can start to think about things in that way, which I find to be the most valuable. All right. So those are the 3 key things. Obviously, there's more in the 1-page summary. Check that out. We can talk about that in more detail. But once again, those 3 things are an automated scorecard that pulls from all your different sources, gives you a custom URL, and can update itself based on the agent, gives your team the opportunity to create any updates before you publish it. The next thing is the roadmap, same thing, pulling from all your different automated sources, giving you a custom URL. Your roadmap is showing things broken down by quarter, by month, by category. And the third is your budget headcount / project planner, where you're talking about these are all of your resources listed by name. This is the percentage of what they're working on, why they're working on it, and what things actually cost. Okay. So, like I was saying, um, the product offering is two different dimensions: your process and your people. From a product perspective, in order to produce a good product, you need to have a good process supporting it. And in order to have a good process, you need good people. So, good people create a good process creates a good product, and a good product hopefully produces a good profit so we could stay in business. So, we talk about all the three key things in the process. Now, let's talk about the key things from a people perspective in the product offering. So, every role I've ever had, I've unofficially had the role of chief of staff slash business manager, in addition to my PM role. And so what that meant was there were times where I worked with teams as big as 400 people with budgets up to $40 million, where I was helping manage the executive team, running that team meeting, taking care of all of the people issues, people complaints, sort of like a mini little HR department, helping them with all of their executive summaries, executive reporting, looking at their process. So basically, anything that you would have on the people side of the business, working on training, people agenda stuff, even outings. Hey, what are we going to do to build up team morale? How are we going to take the team out? Where are we going to go? Offsites, doing an offsite once, twice a year, getting everyone together, flying everyone in, taking care of all that coordination, bringing people together, looking at the plan for the year. So those are the key things from a people perspective. All right. So that's the product offering, the process side and the people side. As always, guys, what I like to say is you may not be hiring yourself, and that's okay, but you probably know someone who knows someone that is. So what I'm asking is for you to just ask referrals, reach out on my behalf. Remember, hustle harder, and let's talk again soon. Have a great day. Bye bye.